Hi, Denise Lonis here, week 3 of our week 4 series, our 4-part series on peak performance. You know, this week we're going to talk about the second most important thing that a peak performer needs to have, and that is the ability to take action in their business. So let's talk a little bit about what those 9 action steps are. Without action and implementation, nothing will get done, and this is a critical part of every peak performer's toolbox. Action is critical. So let's talk about 9 areas that a peak performer has to really think about when it comes to action. So number 1, a peak performer has to develop action items that support goals. So they have to look at the goals. They have to then think about not just I want to make $100,000, but what are the exact steps I need to take to get there. They don't just see the end result, they build every step along the way. So they have an action plan. Number 2, peak performers take the action that they have planned. It's not just enough to create steps, and they know that. They know how to take those steps. Number 3, when you're taking action, you have to learn how to take risks. It's really important for a peak performer to lay out not just the goal, not just the steps, but also a list of what are the possible risks, and they have to look at the risk before they ever get there. They have to play the what-if game. What if this happens along the way? What's that going to look like? So they kind of do this pre-planning, and they kind of get ready for almost anything. Number 4, peak performers get things done because they follow through on their plans, because they have checklists. They have almost like little road maps that have got these stopping points and checkpoints along the way. So number 4 is they get things done, but they do it because they've got a system. Number 5, and this is really important, is that peak performers get help when they need it. Peak performers know what they don't know, and that's critically important. They know what they don't know, and they know who to go to get help. They're not afraid to hire experts to help them, and they're not afraid to say, this is just not my area of expertise. Number 6, they leverage effectively. They know how to leverage time, they know how to leverage money, they know how to leverage relationships. And they leverage these things so that they can achieve the peak performance that they want. Number 7, peak performers measure results. They monitor progress, they monitor their results, they're constantly looking at their charts and their graphs. They like to see if they're on track. I have never met a peak performer that doesn't have some kind of a measuring tool that tells them where they're at. Number 8, peak performers seek feedback. They continually seek feedback from others. They're not afraid to ask for their opinion. They're not afraid to ask if that person has anything to add. So they are continually seeking feedback. And number 9, critically important, is that a peak performer knows how to adapt as needed. They know how to change a map, change a plan, change a system, alter anything that may not have worked out the way they initially thought of. So based on feedback they get, based on results, based on changes in the market, changes in the workplace, changes in employees, changes in the consumers, changes in the client demands, they can adapt as needed. So can you see why the action part of being a peak performer is so critically important? You could also have a great attitude. I want to be successful. I want to be a peak performer. But if you don't take those specific action steps, you're not going to get there. That's why those 3 critical parts are so important. And this week, as we talked about, action is a really key element in becoming a peak performer. So next week, we're going to wrap up with my final discussion on the last category. And I just want to thank you for joining me today, and just know that you can be a peak performer. You just got to take that action that's necessary to get there. Thanks for joining me.